No, it ain't that serious, but it is something, but it's like not that serious, but still serious. That's the motto of this story. Not that serious, but this is serious. So pay attention, I'm saying. The fact that I have a certain kind of diet I have to stick to. I went through a health concern, like literally right when I got home from Malaysia, I had a situation. And it was related to something else I'd already been through, but it was the absolute proof that I needed to change some things. And I'm a very healthy guy. I'm very athletic. I'm in great shape, all of that. So it had nothing to do with not being in shape or not eating what I thought was right for anybody's body. But what I learned from this experience that I went through is that we are truly all genetically different. Each and every last one of us. Even in a family, you know how you'll say, oh, me and my cousin got this, or me and my sister got this, but my parents don't have it, but my uncle does. But something can skip a generation or skip a person. Things are in our genes. We are a multitude of different peoples. You know what I'm saying? I always say, as quote unquote African Americans, this is why I always speak of culture before all the other stuff that people get lost in, and why race is a complete construct. Okay, I am, if you want to talk technically, of African descent, European descent, Native American descent, and I probably got some other stuff, but those are the three that I'm aware of, and I have proof, and we've done the research in my family, right? So what I'm getting at is your diet comes from all those different people that you are made up of, so you're gonna have stuff in you that you don't even know is in you, all right? You will. It's just, this is life, y'all. Face the facts, deal with it, stop pretending that you're one thing. There's no such thing as any one thing for anybody. Every human being is a mix of some other types of human being, but we're all human. You feel what I'm saying? So, to say that with, centuries worth of a diet and stuff, you develop certain sensitivities to things, and then not to mention all of the, modifications and stuff we know is going on with our food nowadays. It's not like unless you're like me, where you do actually go and gather some of your food. For me, the hunt is more the aquatic hunt, the fishing. I love fishing. So as far as gardening, I have done it. I don't do it anymore, so I couldn't even claim that really. But I do try to shop at places that have direct sourced, local. If it's coming from abroad, it's more organic than not. I still eat food that's not organic. It is what it is. So what I'm getting at is nothing to do with that. It's more about literally what works for you as an individual. So the type of diet I'm forced to be on because of my condition is what they call a low oxalate diet. Now, if you're familiar with this, I don't have to say no more. You already understand the code, and you know what you got to do. You know what we have to do to keep ourselves out of the hospital and out of having, outpatient surgeries and things of that nature, okay? It's a real deal. It's not a game. I want to help people to grow. The only reason I'm mentioning this because I understand HIPAA laws, and I know it's my right not to disclose anything about my health to the public, but I decided to make this part of my channel and part of Honest Con Fitness because I want to help other people not go through what I went through. I really do. I mean, the amount of pain and, having to take certain drugs until I was weaned off of that stuff, and just, the time I spent in absolute misery and agony trying to figure out what was wrong, and then realizing it was this one situation. I said, God dog it, how could this have been avoided? And once I realized that it really could have been avoided, I said, well, I'll just be dang. All I had to do was eat a certain way, and I probably would never have this problem again. And I started immediately thinking about people who, like I say, get caught up in thinking they're doing the healthiest diet for them, or, because of all the stuff we all know about. Yes, it is true that there's problems with the meat production. It is true that most processed foods are just absolutely not good for us. It is true that, so there's certain things on a certain level that just are what they are. But then you could get into specifics on some of the other stuff that people do think is safe. I mean, how many times have vegetables been put on, sendbacks and alerts that you can't eat this for a certain amount of months because it could have had contamination if it came from this country and that country, or right here in the US somewhere where there was a factory problem or whatever. There's so much going on with what we eat, right? And it's scary. So for me, like I said, I want to help people. So, I'm slowly but surely opening up about this more and more because I realize I'm going to always bring it up as a traveler. There's no way around it. So I may as well just tell y'all what I'm talking about so it doesn't have to seem weird and like, why does he always get weird when he talks about the food and he always saying he doesn't eat this, that, and the other and the other? Because a lot of people, some people want to pretend or fight the truth that, as you get older, I don't care who you are, you definitely are going to have to create some form of a new diet to survive if you want to live longer. You can't eat like a 3-year-old, like from age 1 through, say, your teens. We'll just leave it at that. Because by the time you hit your 20s, you can start having critical health problems if you've been eating a certain way and don't care what you put in your body. So I started off really good in terms of generally in life of what I ate. By the time I hit my teens and stuff, I started doing what most people do. You peer pressure, plus just habit of stuff you've eaten and you think that's good food, all that salt and sugar and stuff. Like to this day, I still love pizza, but I don't eat a lot of fast food, if any fast food at all. And I definitely don't eat fast food pizza for the most part. I make my own. I make my own pizza at home. That's the only way I'm generally gonna eat a pizza, period. It's the only, and I would advise that for most grown folk. But, convenience and everything else, situations, I'm out with friends, we're at a Super Bowl party, I didn't want to be the stick in the mud, I just ate it. Oh, I was out with friends, everybody was drinking, so I drank. Oh, I was out with friends, I was with family, they like to eat all that, so I just decided I would eat it. That's never made any sense to me once I realized how serious health conditions can be. Once I went through the pain, that was enough for me to be like, I don't care who I'm with. There's no peer pressure. There's no family pressure. There's nobody who can put pressure on me to do anything, and I repeat, anything, outside of what I know is right for me, staying out of the damn hospital and ever having an IV in my arm again. That ought to be enough inspiration in my world for anybody to wake the hell up and say enough is enough. And anybody who's a so-called friend or family who can't understand that, they got some issues with how they want to love you. Let's just put it like that. And they need to check themselves. Because if they really love you, they're not going to, even every time you bring it up, it hurts to have to hear it when you want people to just, something that you enjoy, you think everybody should enjoy, and you just, it ain't going to kill you to eat 1 or 2. If the man or woman just said, I don't want it, don't pressure them. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So, for me, the issue is a certain specific type of kidney stones, and they are known as calcium oxalate stones. Oxalate is found in damn near every kind of food. Now, some of y'all gonna throw your hands up in the air like I did when I first read that and say, well, shit, I guess I ain't gonna eat for the rest of my life. This is the end of my life. I'm just supposed to die because I can't eat nothing. No, that's not what it means. It actually just means you have to be very conscious of your daily intake. So it's typically, and I say typically because I've read countless, and when I say countless, I felt like I was in college again. I'm reading literally medical papers that you can find online. There's so much stuff online. It's amazing what's out here, right? But I found medical papers that literally break down what is in certain foods, and some of it gets so complicated and scientific. I mean, man, get to the damn point. What you saying I can or cannot eat, and most of those don't do that because they're so scientific and specific and it gets on your nerves. So I don't advise for anybody trying to understand this to look at any of that. That's gonna confuse the hell out of you. I'll put a few links in the bio and things for y'all to check out that I know are simple directives that anybody can understand, okay? But the main bottom line is between 50 milligrams to 100 max, period, milligrams per day should be your absolute of oxalate intakes. For me, I try to stick to the 50. I try to stick to the 50. Like I say, I ain't a fan of pain. And after what I went through, not once but twice, but the second time in the worst ever, I said enough is enough. I'm not doing this ever again if I can help it. I'm gonna eat however I gotta eat to avoid this. But not knowing, like when I was on my trip in Malaysia, there's a lot of curry. I loved, because because me and curry broke up. I loved curry. Then I found out curry is full of oxalates. Why? Because curry is made from a lot of different herbs and things, but a lot of different herbs and spices come from certain seeds and things, and seeds and nuts particularly. Any of the basis of most botanical life contains a lot of oxalates. For whatever reason, the shells, it's different parts of them that will contain the most typically. So before I get into that and make somebody think, oh, I'll never eat any type of nut again in my life, I'll never eat any type of herbs or anything ever again. No, it ain't that serious, but it is something. But it's like not that serious, but still serious. That's the motto of this story. Not that serious, but this is serious. So pay attention, I'm saying. And I'm not a doctor, so everything I'm about to say is my research of doctors talking about this and my interpretation of it. So go do your own research. Make that very clear, all right? So, there's a list known as the Harvard list. And Harvard, yes, that means Harvard University. Harvard, being one of the, the biggest Ivy League, most respected Ivy Leagues in the world. Of course, all the research they do is typically trusted and whatnot. Some people would challenge that, and I've read people talking about that and saying, people who are not from Harvard, don't have no ties to Harvard, ain't got to be waving no, crimson and white flag for Harvard, and it ain't even that serious to them. They just see, I respect this knowledge because I've done this research and it matches up with my research as somebody who's in the medical field, and I agree with this. So I've read a lot of folk talking from that. And there's a particular lady, I'll leave her information, I'll blast it here on the screen. I love her page. Shout out to you and your website and your podcast, because she is awesome.
It's what we do every single day in the quantity we do it, along with perhaps the most important thing, not getting any calcium. So that's so very important, because calcium and oxalate bind together in your intestine, leave through the colon, through the stool, okay? So if you don't have calcium, at the same time you have the really high oxalate food, that oxalate food gets metabolized, gets down to the colon. Oxalate doesn't see his friend calcium, and he's like, well, actually in the small intestine, I don't see calcium. I'm going to get reabsorbed back into the system, and then that's how you get higher oxalate. So you want to leave the oxalate out the back door, literally, in your stool. So please have calcium with the higher oxalate food.
She's the most human about explaining this that I've seen. I've seen a lot of folks talking about it online, but she's probably the best in my opinion. I subscribe to her newsletter. I love her information. She trusts the Harvard list, but what she does is she tells the truth about that even. She says this can be extreme in some categories. You get so specific that you're not telling people that, yes, you can still eat some of these things, but just in moderation. As long as you eat these things within the certain amount of milligrams with the whole diet of your daily intake, plus make sure you get enough calcium, because the science of it is, and this took me a long time to understand this, and I'm gonna say it just the way I started to understand it as a layman perspective. Calcium bonds with oxalates, but you gotta have enough calcium. Like they say, some folks say you can even eat up to, or should try to eat up to 1,000 milligrams of calcium per day, which is, another challenge. But between that and then there's other things you do to dissolve oxalates in your system, and that is with citrus, but then even that gets specific. Lemon juice, good. Lemon pill, bad. I'm like, damn, what the hell? Think about it again. I know you're saying, man, this is way complicated. Nothing worth doing is ever easy, right? In life, and I do it. I just do what I gotta do. Right? This has been the part that pisses me off the most of it all, I'll be honest. I like to cook. I wouldn't call myself a chef, but I'm a chef. I can get down. Right? But it's made me stop doing certain things because I had to manage what I put in my food, right? Your favorite new beverage is lemonade. They all say that on every oxalate page talking about this stuff. Drink all the lemonade you want, but watch the sugar. Still can be a diabetic. You can't go crazy with this oxalate diet, because I could easily see how you go too extreme with the oxalate diet, you'll become a diabetic, because a lot of the foods you can eat are the stuff that you've been avoiding, if you're like me, to be healthier. Because I never stopped eating sugar. I never stopped eating, I did stop eating dairy with the exception of plain yogurt, because dairy's on the good side. Most dairy has 1 to none milligrams per cup of whatever it is. Okay, you can do the research on that, it varies, but generally you ain't gonna see nothing over I would say I've never seen anything over 2 milligrams. I don't care how much of the cup measurement it is. Dairy's on the good side. So cheese, I went back to eating. When I say went back, because I stopped eating cheese at a certain point in my life. Then I slowly brought back in white cheese because I found out white cheese was less fattening than yellow cheese. So I stopped eating all the cheddar and all that stuff. If I got it here and there, I got it. For the holidays, for macaroni and cheese, yeah, I did what I did, right? But I wouldn't eat it every day, all year. No, I wasn't trying to do it like that. But then I realized, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the only things some of the only things I can eat comfortably with this new diet. So I went hog wild until I realized, wait. That don't mean you could just be eating cheese like you crazy every day. Yeah, you're trying to get that calcium, but there's other things that can contain calcium. Even in vegetables that contain calcium. Your broccoli, which I stopped eating because broccoli doesn't work with another part of my body. You see, various diets for all those genes I was talking about earlier. Somewhere in my genes, like most people, broccoli will make you poop, okay? Like beans, you know what I mean? Beans are really bad. Legumes in general, that's beans, legumes, if you don't know the word, are generally not too good for my Spanish speakers. Frijoles is no frijoles, or más o menos frijoles, okay? A little bit, but not so much, right? Certain ones, specific types. Garbanzos, chickpeas, good, low oxalate. Black-eyed peas, which I loved. I was so happy to see that on the list. I was like, thank goodness. Even though they make you toot and poop too. In the privacy of my own home, I don't go out when I eat those usually. Okay? Or I've gotten close with my lady friend so she knows what's going to happen. Baby, I need you to just exit the room for a minute and come back. Let me air it out. No, but seriously, you can eat black-eyed peas. They're low oxalate. Who knew? Garbanzos, low oxalate. Who else was it? Lentils. I've seen mixed reviews on lentils. I've seen some stuff trying to say it's danger. And I was like, what do you mean? This is saying low, and this is the better thing I go to. So again, it's all about how much are you cooking? How much are you eating in one, what's your serving size? Look at all that stuff and enjoy your lentils. It can happen. Just make sure you moderation, right? So moderate to low on any of the oxalate lists are the ones to go with. Anything that says high, here's some stuff that's always on the high. This is when everybody just faints. You got a lot to live for, and food comes in different flavors. And there's substitutions for dang near everything in nature I'm discovering, and always new to a certain extent. Chocolate is high in oxalate, real high. I was never a chocoholic, but I do enjoy chocolate. I like chocolate. I eat some chocolate every now and then. But I've never been one of those people, I just gotta have chocolate. Chocolate. I worship chocolate. No, I'm not a chocoholic. But so that was easy for me. I was like, what? This is gonna kill me? The hell with you, chocolate. We done broke up. I don't need you, girl. Go on somewhere, right? Who did I replace chocolate with? Carob. Yeah. C-A-R-O-B. Look it up. Now here's how it seems to contradict what I said earlier about seeds. Not all seeds are super high, and just like not all nuts and not all beans. The list gets smaller though. There are more that are high than are low. So you're gonna eat less. If you love beans, guess what? Your bean intake just got cut. I'm sorry. Your stuff just got cut. My vegetarians and vegans, your protein extreme with beans, if you get stones, you might have to go to another diet. Now, I'm not saying for some people, vegetarian and vegan is the best option for their body, for their genes, whatever's in them that's dominant. Because just like what I'm saying about the diet, what makes us up, I like to think of it like that. It's like I might have more of or certain genes in me might be more dominant for my diet than other things. But then with my appearance, certain parts of my genes are more dominant in that. And in my, my outward appearance, my hair texture, my skin tone, and the variations I can get with different tans and different types of sun. I get a different tan when I'm in Mexico than I did when I was in Malaysia. It's stuff like that. It's real stuff. So, if you understand these things, you never get all weird and it's just this, and this, and don't get it. And then, Lord, don't add in a whole bunch of political and social unrest luggage. you'll never get your body right because you over here trying to fight the power, but you dying because you say, but I'm black and black folk from Africa ate this and I know I'm African. Yeah, but you're not just African more than likely. You might also be Native American, and you might have, if you African American, you probably got some European in you. Whether that came from a good relationship or a bad one, the genes are there. Deal with the genes. We can deal with that psychological stuff on some other day. But we're going to deal with these genes and what can happen when you sitting up in that doggone doctor's office with them tubes in you, okay? When you getting anesthesia, because you ain't going to be able to stay awake for this process. I promise you, it's not the life you want. Let go of all of the stuff that's in the way of you being your best you. And spend the rest of your life figuring out who that is, because you're never going to know the full equation. But at least if you're moving towards it, you got a fighting chance at having a good life and not killing yourself, not even knowing you were killing yourself. Because another thing, let me go back to my list, that was on there for me that was, it blows my mind every time I think about it. I went from, like I said, grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, eating mostly healthy, standard food for the 70s and 80s as my parents would have thought to feed their children. Like most parents who come from the old school and you cook every night. My mom cooked, you feel me? As things advanced, I can remember around middle school, somewhere in there, she still cooked. Mom threw it down. Thanks, Mom, love you forever. But Mom got tired and Dad didn't cook a lot. He would do it every now and then. That was a blue moon. That was barbecues and stuff like that. Dad gonna be on the grill, you know what I'm saying? But so we, like most people, fast food culture was growing by the 80s. So now, oh man, it's affordable, it's convenient. You start hitting up the Mickey D's. You start hitting up the Wendy's on the way home. You start hitting up, who else was the big ones back in the day? Chick-fil-A got big later, but that was a, rare thing in the beginning. It was like Burger King, all the burger places, all that stuff, right? Around high school, I weaned myself off of McDonald's because I had a bad McDonald's experience. Ate one of the worst burgers of my life. The soda was flat. I stopped drinking soda cold turkey, and I said, I'm through with this dang restaurant. It's gross anyway. I'm done. Okay? I stopped eating it. Then I still ate Wendy's and I still ate Burger King. Then I dropped Wendy's because that was so greasy. Then by the time I was in college, I was strictly Burger King and Chick-fil-A. Then I got to a point where I was like, nothing but Chick-fil-A and that's it. And to this day, if I'm in a serious tight, about the only fast food I might eat is Chick-fil-A, but even then, I don't eat the fries anymore. Because guess who's on the list for oxalates? I know. I hear you. I hear y'all out there crying saying, man, are you serious? No, it can't be. Not potatoes. That's exactly what I did. I did one of those. Yeah. Potatoes are full of oxalates. They're real high on the high list. And we talking about sweet potato. Oh, I know all my Southerners just like me. Take me, I'm done. I mean, how can you not have the sweet yams, you know what I'm saying? The candy yams. Yeah. You might just have to get that one little slice for Thanksgiving. Not for Christmas, too. I mean, you do what you do. Whatever y'all want to do. I'm just telling you what you're going to have to do to balance it out because it's too much. It gets into the thousands of milligrams. Think about it. You're only supposed to have under 100 a day and you got one thing that can put you into thousands. That's literally like just saying, I don't give a damn. I'm going to build a stone. I'll pass a stone. Yeah, okay. Talk that bad talk until you get sick and feel like you about to die, throwing up and all that other stuff. You don't want it. You don't want it. You don't want it. I don't care what you heard. You don't want that smoke. No, you don't. For you youngins to talk that smoke talk. You don't want this smoke. You don't want it. Worst pain in your life. I promise you. Anyway, a relative said, and she's a mother. She said, passing a stone for her as a mother was worse than having a baby. I said, well, that don't tell you something. Think about it. Woo. And they come in different sizes and shapes and stuff. Look up what stones look like. I was lucky. My first situation, it wasn't jagged. But they can be jagged. And they can be spiked and look like literally like crystals and stuff. It's insane. Just the thought of it makes me just, Yo. So, You don't want it, y'all. You don't want that. Other thing that was on the list that had to go that I thought like I was saying, I was giving you this fast food transition. So by the time I was in college and I was trying to eat better, because for myself, I was trying to eat better. Then I went on a personal journey because I met my ex. I'm divorced, no kids. But my ex was, she was from Cali, and Cali folk just, even when they don't have a lot of money, they know to eat better, or what we consider better, because there's a fusion of Asian culture and a lot of steamed and you got rice dishes and stuff where it's a lot of vegetables and a lot of hydration in the food. And that's fast food versus always going to get a burger. They still eat the burgers and all the other greasy stuff we most eat in America, but they eat less of it and more of this other stuff. So I started eating like her, and it helped. And then I gave her some tips, and she got better, because we were fusing the best of our both, my Southern cuisine, her Los Angeles cuisine. And I swore by that for years. And there was nothing wrong with the intention. I had all the best intentions. Once I went through my divorce and everything, I still kept some of those traditions in how I ate, because I always thought it was working for me. Yeah, my skin looks great. People tell me that. I don't seem like I'm aging.
And so I ate a lot of salad, and I started to love spinach.
I want I can't even name all them other, in the mixed green salad. And I'm gonna tell you another thing I started doing. When I would go to film sets, drinking the fresh squeezed juices, and I would love to mix carrot juice, beet juice, and ginger. That was my go-to. So when I got sick this second time with this situation, guess what I had for breakfast that day? I had that juice mixture, and before I left home even to get to set, I had made myself an egg scramble with parsley, spinach, and I probably had cheese in there too. Here's what was bad in that whole mixture. It was the parsley, which is extremely high in oxalates, and spinach. The numbers for both of these are very high in oxalate. Also, the beet juice, oh my gosh, horrible. Carrot juice, horrible. So carrots are on the list, and I used to love carrots, y'all. I love the taste of carrot juice. It's delicious to me. It grew on me. I didn't always like it. When I got older, I fell in love with it. As I changed myself to this new diet, coming out of college and had been eating a certain way for a long time, your taste buds change to what you're eating. Now, mind you, I never became a straight up vegetarian or vegan or anything, but I ate so much of vegetable and fiber that people would look at my plate and think, are you vegetarian? I'd be like, you don't see this steak or chicken or fish right next to all these vegetables? But people would joke with me. I remember at my job, one of my jobs, all the ladies there would they think they was like, Joe is healthy. He eats so healthy. I'd be laughing myself thinking, y'all should eat more like this. But anyway, this is what I'm saying about that should. Everybody got to do what they got to do for themselves. Some of these folk I'm joking about were not in the best health, but that's for other reasons. It had nothing to do with what worked for me. They got to figure out what works for them. What I figured out the hard way is I was eating a very high oxalate diet on the daily for years. Did not even know I was killing myself, because I thought these are all healthy foods. They get labeled, and they are. I'm not saying these are not healthy foods. I don't want anybody watching this to think, oh, that's it, I'll never eat spinach again. I knew that stuff ain't no good for you. I never liked it no way. They just, my wife, my girlfriend, my doctor, whoever's trying to force me to eat this, I don't even like. No, hold up. Find out if it's best for you. If it's working for you, if you don't have what I have, you're okay. You don't have an issue with oxalates or a history of kidney stones in your family from calcium oxalate kidney stones, you might not have nothing to worry about. And spinach might still be your best friend for your muscles, like I read years ago that spinach has a chemical in it naturally that helps fight the flu and prevents you from getting the common flu. Come on, that was one of the number one reasons I was eating this stuff. I was like, man, gotta have that. And I wasn't catching the flu either. I've had the flu once in my life. And ever since I read that, I wasn't catching the flu. I guess I'm gonna have to find a better way to avoid the flu, because like I said, there's always a substitute. Here's the good side of things. Arugula is still on the good list. It's low in oxalates. As far as, can you eat any dark greens? Because a lot of leafy greens have it. Guess what? Number one, this right here made my day. I was like, universe, thank you. You know my soul. It's kind of like I had to pick the best of everything and just settle for that. Kale. And I mean kale, yeah. I love some kale, y'all. Kale is on the good side. It's low in oxalate. As dark green as it is, it's low in oxalate. I love kale. It's my favorite green for eating greens. I had been stopped eating, I'm from the South, so yeah, I ate them. I used to love them when I was young. I used to eat, collard greens and all this stuff. Collards are super high in oxalate. Turnips, high again. All those things, there are a lot. Mustards, I never liked mustards anyway, but those are the things that are high. So I was lucky to still have kale. I can still eat some greens, you know what I'm saying? When I go to the potluck for Christmas time, holidays, I'm bringing the kale. You feel? That's what I do. And I still eat kale all year long, every now and then. And I even moderate, I still keep it moderate with that because it's just something in the back of my mind because it's so dark green. It reminds me of these other greens. It kind of, and I'm not scared completely of it, but you get paranoid of anything that looks like the enemy, you know what I'm saying? So I still eat kale, but I just don't eat it weekly. Like, it was a time when I would eat it weekly. I would buy it every time I go to the grocery store. I eat kale maybe once every season, you know what I mean? And I enjoy it. I do, I really do. So there you go. That's just a little bit of a starters list. Like I said, dairy's on the good side of things, but don't overdo it. Don't get crazy. Figure out other ways to get calcium in your diet. Cauliflower will become your best friend. I like it, but I admit I don't. I wasn't in a habit already of buying it, so I have to remind myself, oh yeah, cauliflower's on my good list. I need to be eating more of that. So, it's one of those things where you switch up, and then in some cases you go back to things you left behind thinking they were bad. Like, one of the craziest things I went back to was I now eat, I won't say straight up bleach white bread, because any kind of bleach flour is still bad. But wheat flour in general is high, or can be high, in oxalates. But if you eat it in moderation, you can still eat wheat. And that's so hard to dodge. So I still will eat wheat, but I try my best I look for unbleached, like I always did, unbleached flour. And I don't do multigrain anymore because multigrain gonna bring in the seeds and stuff I can't do. Sesame is your enemy. You don't want sesame seeds. They're high in oxalate. So, it's like a lot of Asian food has died. It makes me think about when I was in Malaysia, how much sesame I was probably eating and didn't even think about it. It makes me think about all the curry I ate. And when I travel now, I look at the possibility of, will I be able to eat when I'm there? Is this place diverse enough in its culture mixes that there are people there that have American fare where I can find something on the menu I'm used to eating and eat around the oxalates? Or within what's traditional, can I eat around the oxalates? Because I have to do what I got to do. It's going to be in the diet, but I can't go extreme anymore. And I've got to avoid that taking me back to the pain and quite frankly, hey, the medical bills. We ain't even talking about the economic strain of what this does in your life. Think about it, y'all. I really sincerely hope this helps somebody. It took a long time for me to do this video. I didn't want to put my business out there like that. But I realized, hey man, one life to live in this body. And I feel that I'm here to help people in so many ways. And Honest Con is here to give you a creative, healthy lifestyle. And when I say healthy, I do mean for the fitness element of Honest Con Fitness. This is an individual, I want you to take that most from this. I'm not telling you to stop eating these things if they're still good for you. I'm telling you, don't underestimate the possibility that you might have this sensitivity. And the next time you maybe go to the doctor, if it doesn't cost you too much to do this, ask them if, let them know, hey, I got a history of that in my family. I want to make sure that's not a problem for me. And, if you have any kind of pain when you urinate, if your urine is extremely dark, they always say when you're hydrated, that's the other thing. You drink so much water with this diet. You're trying to always sip your water and keep your hydration up like I'm about to do right now. Because if your urine is dark yellow, you're dehydrated, but you're also pushing out a lot of oxalates. That means you got a lot going on in your kidneys. You got to handle that. So take that with you. I sincerely hope this helps somebody. Let me know, man, because it means a lot to me when y'all respond. Let me know. I didn't just do this all in vain. I ain't just put my business all out in the street and don't nobody even care to learn from it. Tell me, man, thank you so much. Let me know that you got something from this or that you've, been through this. If you've been through some issues with kidney stones and you're living that life, tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start mentioning it here and there. I'm going to say, hey, the low ox diet fam, what's up? I'm going to shout us out because I understand how hard it is to make this change once you know you got to do it, So for all my low ox, I'm going to say low ox, that's my slang for it. The low ox soldiers out here, all my low ox people, much love to you. Stay strong, eat what you know you're supposed to eat, drink what you know you're supposed to drink, cook how you know you're supposed to cook. Don't let nobody take you off your path, because you were the one who had to face the doggone pain and get that better reality once you changed everything. Keep doing what you got to do and live your life for you. All right? Blessings to all of y'all. Love y'all. Holla back. Thank you.